What's going on, everyone? This is Harry, also known as the Brand Builder, and today's video is going to be probably a little controversial. So let me tell you what the issue with today's video is going to be. Some people are going to be very sensitive to this information, but I'm going to talk truth. I'm going to speak truthfully, and I'm going to make you aware of the things that I think are important in your life versus the things that I think might just be talking points. If I waste most of your time doing nothing, this is mostly considered bottom rung to me. Only functionable to the point where you can probably pay your cell phone bill, really not a benefit to anyone. So that to me is bottom rung. Like, you don't have your own place, you probably don't own a vehicle. Everywhere you go, you have to walk, and you don't have any savings, you don't have any money, you don't have $2,000 put away in a savings account. This is bottom rung. So let's talk about what you're going to do to get out of that function. And then homelessness is self-evident. You don't have a place to live. And some people don't know that they're homeless because technically they have a place where they live that doesn't belong to them. It's like a friend's house and they're staying there temporarily. There's a few things you should not be doing when you're homeless or bottom rung, right? Some people don't believe that I was both of these things, both homeless and bottom rung. Most people who are absolutely homeless have no one to lean on whatsoever, no friends, and are extremely judged, whereas in bottom rung, people are not as judged and have support to some degree. So here are 5 things you need to stop doing when you become homeless or bottom rung. Number 1, hanging out with friends. Stop hanging out with your friends immediately. Do not go anywhere with your friends. Do not go to the park with your friends. Do not go to the movies with your friends. Do not go to a party with your friends. Do not go to the fair or to any other outings with your friends. 2, stop dating. It's a waste of time that you need to hustle. We're going to get more into that later. Why do you need time when you're bottom rung or homeless? Because you need to hustle. All right. So here's the thing. Some people might say, what if you're homeless and you meet somebody and they let you stay at their house and they want a relationship with you? Yes, I'm talking about you too. I am talking about that situation. Yeah, because you are still bottom rung, right? If someone takes you in their house and it's their house and they want you to live there temporarily or while they're dating you, if you ever stop dating them, you're back on the street. So this is why I say that some people don't understand that homelessness and bottom rung are one and the same. They really are the same thing to a certain degree. It's just that somebody's going to think that someone's going to bash me and say, oh, that's not the case. When you're homeless, you usually have a bottle in your hand, you have no clothes. No, because you could be bottom rung. If someone takes you in, even if you're a guy and a woman really likes you and she's middle class, she has a beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood, and she brings you over and has drinks with you, you are still bottom rung. You are still bottom rung, right? If she ever kicks you out, you're back on the streets. So you need to be careful with this, because if she kicks you out, you're back on the streets. You don't want to be back on the streets. So you're still bottom rung and you're still in a bad situation. So number 3, avoid alcohol and doing drugs. Avoid all alcohol. Now, so number 4, avoid parties, family events, and outings. Yes, I even mean family graduations. I don't care. If you are bottom rung, do not go to little Johnny's high school graduation or middle school graduation. You can't afford to. There's a lot of controversy behind here, but I'm telling you effective ways to get it done, because these things that you're going to avoid are going to be replaced by habits that you're going to actually do. And unfortunately, during this video, because it has to be so raw, I might have to write down the things that you have to do or just talk about it. So, number 5, watching or reading the news. You're going to have to stop doing that. Now, let me explain to you and go in reverse as to why you're going to stop watching or reading the news. The news is going to trigger emotional responses, both negative and positive. If you ever watch the news and realize that you're going to receive a stimulus check, you're going to get excited and your mind is going to be on that check. You're going to be thinking, oh, $2,000, $400, $500, $1,000. Oh, and then you're going to start thinking about things you can spend that money on. You are bottom rung and homeless. You are not prepared to take money like that and blow it on whatever. And then that emotional response is going to trigger you. Now, if you read the news or watch the news, and in the news there's bad news or something bad or traumatic happens in society, you're going to be triggered to have an emotional response that's going to distract you from doing what you have to do. So that's why number 5 is important. Parties, family events. Yes, tell your family when you're trying to get your stuff together and when you're about to do what I'm about to tell you to do. So I went to the negative first. I'm going to tell you what you need to do next, is because it's going to interrupt what you need to do to be successful and to be. And how do I know these things work? Because this is what I did when I was homeless and bottom rung. I'm going to tell you what I did when I was homeless and when I was bottom rung. I'm going to tell you step by step what I did to get myself out of that situation. The reason why I'm not anymore is because I'm following the steps that I'm about to tell you right now. Here are some of the things you need to do when you are homeless or bottom rung. Step number 1, because chances are if you're homeless or bottom rung, you cannot get a job. Step number 1 is to spot value. You're going to turn an invaluable situation to a valuable situation, right? What I did was, the very first thing I did was I started doing this. I started taking back bottles and cans, right? The very first day I did it for real, the very first day that I actually committed a day to doing it, I made $168 on the same day. I'm going to say it again. I made $168 that day when I took back bottles and cans. This was years ago, right? So that's what I did. This is how I got out of homelessness. I made $168. What do you think I did the next day? I went and did it again. Now, I took back bottles and cans every day for 7 days a week. And I did it for about 6 months. And then I started doing other stuff. No, not 6 months, excuse me. 6 weeks. I apologize. I did it for 6 weeks. So I was out on the streets for 2 months. All right, when I was homeless. Now, the other thing I did was I learned to, because I had a mentor at the time, I learned to find things on the streets, to fix it up and sell it, right? Scavenging. I learned the art of scavenging. Every time I found money on the streets, change, metal, I learned that when someone threw an appliance away, that you could take parts from that appliance and sell them for money. People will buy parts for an appliance. There were shops in New York City where I lived at the time when I was homeless, where you can take those appliances or those appliance parts and sell them to the shop, which were called pawn shops or value shops or whatever they were called. Some of them were just salvage retail or sales or something else, right? That's what I did. I took these things there and I sold them for cash and I kept it moving. I wasn't using drugs. I did not drink alcohol, so that was part of my fuel. I was too young to do that. Well, technically, the second time I was no. So, my story about my homelessness and bottom rung happened in a unique way, but my lesson from what took place was very real. I paid great attention to detail of what took place and what happened that got me in that situation, and that's how I was able to get out of it on my own. So, that's one thing I did. So if you do that every day for 7 days a week, that's why I say you can make $500 a week or more. Now, to be able to do that, make $500 a week, can make you very functioning. You could take your capital, you could save it, you could then eventually start doing things that you need to do. You can get yourself a place to live. You can find a job and then subsidize by doing it on the side. What did I do? I was able to work a job, and I was doing all these things on the side. When I finally got an apartment and was able to do my own thing, what did I do? I started doing my side hustles on the weekends. So on the weekends, I would hustle on the side, or sometimes I would work 2 jobs and do a hustle on the side anyway, right? There was a time where I was selling perfume oils on the side while working a job. So I was always making money no matter what I was doing. Always had side hustles. So if you are homeless or bottom rung, you have to get focused. Doing things like dating someone, not going to help you. Hanging out with friends, you're going to waste time and money. Drinking alcohol and doing drugs, not only are you wasting your body, wasting your functions, wasting your brain, but you're also wasting your money and your time. Avoid parties, family events, and outings. Why would you avoid the family reunion if you're homeless in Bottom Rung? You're homeless, you're living on the streets. Your family invites you to a barbecue, right? Now there's two benefits to going to that barbecue. One, you'll be able to eat. Two, a family member might offer you a place to stay. Now here's the issue with what I'm telling you. You start staying with a family member, for example, and then you're still in that same category, homeless or bottom rung. The key is to put yourself in a position where you're not either one, because bottom rung is only one step away from being homeless. All it takes is one decision in 24 hours and you're out of there. Just like that. Perfectly gone, right? So that's what can happen. Now, if you are bottom rung and you're staying with a family and that family member says to you, hey, you can stay here as long as you need to, sleep on the couch in the living room, and it's a little tiny compact couch. You don't have the space to do what you need to. You don't have any room to do anything you need to. You're in a bad situation. No matter how you put it, you are screwed. You are absolutely screwed. And you better be careful, because the next step is you're going to bump into something that you didn't expect, which is to be kicked out. You got to pay attention to what you need. You need to spot value, okay? You need to hustle 7 days a week. I'm going to say this again. Hustle 7 days a week. I'm writing this down. I'm writing this down for the notes section at the bottom. When I am ready to upload this video, you'll have this information in the comment section or in the description of the video. So make sure you read that. Make sure you're giving this video a thumbs up so that it can spread out to everybody it needs to go to. So if you're a subscriber, I'm going to need you to hit that thumbs up button. So spot value, hustle 7 days a week, no days off. Another thing you're going to do when you're homeless or bottom rung is you're going to avoid expensive things. This is common sense, but some people don't really get it, because I'm going to prove to you something. I had a cousin who had a friend stay at her house once before. Her friend stayed at her house. Her friend stayed at her house, and her friend decided that it would be a great opportunity to, while she was sleeping in her house, go out on the weekends and shop for shoes and buy new clothes and go out partying and doing all this fun stuff. And she was never able to get rid of her friend. Her friend was supposed to stay there for a month or 2 months. And then when her boyfriend was going to come back in town, they were going to get a place together. She had her there for 2 to 3 years. Almost 3 years, I believe. And my cousin hated it. She hated it because she had no intention on keeping her friend there. Bad news. Bad news. But this is part of what I'm telling you. Like, you'll end up sleeping on someone's couch if you don't follow these rules of what you don't do. You do not have time to party. You do not have time to go to family outings. You do not have time for any of those things. You only have time to get your life together. And that's what you're going to do. So the fourth thing that you're going to do to get yourself out of being bottom rung and homeless, the fourth thing you're going to do is you're going to learn how to save a large amount. The reason why you're going to save a large amount of money is because even though it would be smart to invest your money to make more money and do other projects and do this and do that, you're not going to have the room to do that, because you're going to have to move fast. You're going to have to move into a situation where you're comfortable, because your hustle can't evolve unless you have the things you need. There's tools and utilities that you're going to need in order to become successful at building yourself up. And you can't do that in a situation where you're living with someone else, or you're limited, or you have very little time and space, and you can't make judgments or decisions on what you got going on. So you have to be careful. save a large amount of money. All right. Here's one last thing. One last thing. There's one more part. One more part. And I'm going to talk about this in another video. You're going to have to record your journey. Whether you take a mental record or you write it down, which you should probably write it down, is because you're going to have to try to teach your brain how to avoid this situation going forward. You're going to have to teach yourself how to build yourself up so that you never have to do this again. Okay? So record your journey means basically figure out how to write down your goals and write down anything you need. And you need to go old school and write notes. If you're in a situation where you're homeless and you need a place to stay, looking for an apartment, and someone's got an apartment for rent, you have to write that down. Write down how much they want for a security deposit and for first month's rent. Write down everything you need to. And that's why you need to save a large amount of money. Save up to 6 months worth of rent before you go any further. Save up 6 months worth of rent. After you saved up 6 months worth of rent, all you're gonna do is find out about that place, rent it out. Now you got money saved up. Now you're gonna begin to hustle. You can either find a job and do your hustle on the side, which is your side hustle motivation. You could do a number of things, but whatever you do, make sure that you learn how to save up an abundance of money and then record your journey. Do all the things I told you before, all right? Which is the spot value, which means find opportunities to find things that you can flip. People throw things out all the time, right? You might even be able to get clothes that somebody's getting rid of, or sneakers and you can flip them, sell them online. Facebook Marketplace is the best place for it. Okay, hustle 7 days a week. That means that you cannot take any days off. You're homeless, you've already been taking days off. You're bottom rung, you've taken too many days off. So all you're gonna do is hustle 7 days a week. Avoid expensive things, and then save a large amount of money. Record your journey. That's very important that you record your journey. I did all of these things. I avoided all of these things when I was homeless and bottom rung, and this is what's going to work for you. I tell you all the time, do not listen to YouTubers, but I'm telling you what worked for me when I was in that situation. When I say I was homeless, I was literally out on the streets, right? When I was bottom rung, that's when I was about to be homeless, and I didn't realize it. So you go to the streets. I remember being young, listening to my family. I remember when I asked one of my cousins for $5, it wasn't going to kill him. I did, because I realized to myself, he taught me something valuable. You got to earn it. You can't just ask people for things. You have to earn it. I know people who go years upon years upon years asking for everything. Let me tell you guys another personal quick story. There was a time where I was really a sucker. And you know what happened to me? One day, I had that situation happen to me where I'm sitting there just thinking, you know, let me keep asking people for rides, and let me keep just doing the bare minimum, walking around BSing, trying to find ways to get to people. See, there's a lot of gentlemen. I wasn't this kind of guy at the time. There's a lot of gentlemen who would be at the lower part of life. They'll be bottom rung, and you will walk all the way across town to your girlfriend's house to hang out with her all day instead of doing what you got to do to put yourself in a favorable situation and put yourself behind the wheel of something nice so you can drive it. There's a lot of gentlemen who do that. But me, I wasn't trying to get to a girl's house. I was trying to get to work, but I was doing something dumb. I'm sitting there depending on other people. I asked this guy, hey, can you give me a ride? He's like, I got somewhere to go. And right there, he snapped me out of that sucker stage, and I realized 3 weeks later, I had a new car. 3 weeks later. After that experience, I got my life together. I started hustling. I got a new car. Think on that. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, because hustle motivation is real. Get your side hustle going. Now, one other thing I have to say before I go. Some people think that investing in the stock market and getting dividends is a side hustle. It absolutely is. So if you're the type of person that has a 9-to-5 and you're comfortable, you make a good amount of money, and you can also invest a lot of money in the stock market, then go right ahead. If you could put $500 a week into stocks that pay you dividends, go right ahead. Maybe you're one of those people who make $1,000 a month from dividends. Maybe you make $2,000, maybe you make $3,000, maybe you make $4,000. Whatever you do, that's a side hustle, right? If you get dividends from stocks, that's a side hustle. So woo-ha to you, and I respect you greatly. Keep doing what you got to do. Don't let anybody hate on you, because there's rich ambition, rich hustle, there's middle class hustle, and there's a lot of things. And also, to learn more about income investing, look in the description below. You can buy my book on Amazon, an ebook for 99 cents. It's the secret weapon that you really need in your life, a wealth code. Make sure you get that book. It's only 99 cents. Look in the description. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bells, hit the like button, and comment below if you have any questions. Thank you, and I hope this video is going to help you out greatly.